All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are your Philly Sports Bulls. It's Jonesy and Brown here for another week to talk Philly sports with you. That's my man Mike Jones. I am John Brown. We got a special guest for you today. Let me run down this man's resume, if I may. This man is a Temple grad, so that makes him Temple tough. We love Temple grads on this show. Temple is always welcome on this show. But then, for that matter, so is Villanova, so is St. Joe, so is LaSalle. Drexel. You're all welcome on this show.
My
This man
my
does sport.
mom went to Temple, so I got a lot of
Yes,
love for them.
yes.
There
My
you go,
grand, well,
Mom.
my grandma grew up. My grandma lived right around the corner from Temple, so I hung out on Temple's campus a lot. I didn't take any classes there or anything, but spent a lot of time on that campus. But nonetheless, this man also does sports and news for PHL 17. Watch this man work. I've watched this man grow. It's good to get this man on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest this week, Tyrone Sharper. What's going on, sir?
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it, man. Hey, man, tell us a little bit about yourself. Are you're born and raised in this area? You from the Philly area?
Through and through, man. Born and raised in Philly, man. Lived in Southwest Philly most of my
Nice.
life. A lot of my family's from South Philly, so I spent a
Mm-hmm.
lot of time growing up there. And I'm 4 for 4, man. Philly, Sixers, Eagles, and
Yes.
Flyers, baby. I bleed it all. So
Appreciate that,
it's
man.
it's fun to be
Yes.
back home, and it's important.
Said you're from Southwest. Where'd you go to school?
So I went to Bartram High School for
Mm-hmm.
freshman year, and then things got a little rough in the hood. So Mom Dukes moved
Understood.
us out to Jersey, and then I finished up high school out there, and then I came back home, and then I went to Community College Philadelphia, went to Temple, and it's TU all day, baby.
Nice. All right. So with that, being from South Philly, you
Mhm.
grew up fairly close proximity to the sports complex.
Oh yeah.
What point did you fall in love with Philly sports?
Oh man, it had to be out. It was probably when I was living in Southwest. Actually, '01 Sixers go to the finals, and
Mm-hmm.
the way our fans reacted. I mean, they was out in the street, they throwing trash cans. We didn't even win the finals. We were just going to the finals, and I was just like, yeah, I like this. And so from there on, I just grown to love every single team. I got into hockey like maybe 10 years ago. Just fell in love with that sport. So
Yes.
pretty knowledgeable about all the sports, but I would have to say '01 is where I really started to gain my love for Philly.
Okay, so '01, I have to ask, and we'll circle back to this a little more later, but
Hmm.
starting that love in '01, how much can you really hate the Cowboys?
A whole lot. You learn that rivalry real quick, real quick. I got some family members that somehow are Cowboys fans, so I worked for the Eagles for 10 years actually as a game day staff member, so. I felt the rivalry in person inside the link.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot
Okay.
of hate there. So for me, I know exactly what it feels like, and I guess you would consider a short amount of time, but it feels like forever.
Okay, because I ask, because a lot of people, the younger guys, tend to say the Giants are the rival because of the Eli years and such, and it often tends
Nah.
to be the old guys who hate the Cowboys the most. But
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you were in the building and felt the hate, you've got the full
Yeah.
experience.
Oh
Like
man, I got the full experience, man.
shouldn't there should be hate. There should be enough hate to go around.
Oh, it
Like
is.
Oh, it is
like
absolutely.
like people like you can hate the Cowboys, and it's not like that means you like the Giants or the Redskin Commanders or whatever you want to call them, but like you should hate them all.
I feel
They all suck. I mean, the
that.
Cowboys, they're worse than they're worse than all of them.
Hmm.
But that doesn't like equate to like love for like the Giants or Washington. Like they stink too. They for whatever reason.
Yeah, for me, John, I use the word tolerate, right?
Mm-hmm.
I tolerate the other teams, right? They don't bother me as much as the Cowboys, but
Mm.
the Cowboys definitely get the most hate. The other teams, I'm like, yeah, whatever. I
No,
don't like them either.
I understand, and I think the hate for Cowboys fans is rooted in the fact that I mean you're born and raised in this area. just like me, Mike Jones. We've all lived in this area for a long time.
Yeah.
We've all grown up around Cowboys fans.
Which makes no sense.
All the Cowboys, which makes no sense because out of all the Cowboys fans, collectively, out of the three of us, how many of those people have actually been to Dallas, Texas?
I can't. I could probably count on one hand.
I would guess 3%.
Exactly, and that might have been by accident. However, most of the Giants fans I know are from that New York tri-state. They're from New York, from North Jersey, Connecticut, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the Redskins fans I know are from the DMV.
Commanders.
Whatever.
Oh gosh.
Whatever.
Oh, the names. Don't get into the names.
Whatever. Look, those two L's we hung on them said I can call them whatever I want. But
that's facts.
but most of the DC fans I know are from DC.
Mm-hmm. Somewhere in North Virginia, Maryland.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. A couple of Baltimore people before the Ravens came to town.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they might be Redskins or Commanders fans too.
The football team.
Yeah, they're fans of the football team. I don't know any Cowboys fans from Dallas. I have to think I would have a little bit more respect for people who grew up around the city of Dallas, who grew up as Cowboys fans. Like, I would respect that.
Like, I actually do know.
And you're a Cowboys fan, then I got no respect for you.
I will say this, because I actually do know some Cowboys fans from Texas, classmates throughout college and such. And they're fairly decent people. They're reasonable, but
they're not jerks.
It's the ones from here that just seem like they're looking.
Ironically enough,
the ones from here, they're just looking to be like contrarians. Like they want to be the dissidents.
How you grow up on 20th and Lehigh and you a Cowboys fan? That makes no sense.
Then they always got a weird story of how they became a Cowboys fan. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, man, that's garbage. Stop that, man.
Exactly.
My uncle's third cousin.
Exactly. My uncle
bought me a Cowboys fan when bought me a Cowboys football in '92.
You're right. I had a star on my ceiling, and that's how I like them.
Your uncle went to Dobbins. So that means you're a loser. He's a loser too.
Bigger loser.
That means the loser is generational. If you got your fanhood for the Cowboys from someone else who didn't grow up in Dallas, that means you're a generational loser. Yep. That means and at this point now, it's like, look, when the last time the Cowboys won a Super Bowl, Biggie and Pac were alive. Biggie and Pac were friends.
VHS tapes.
The channel you watched the Super Bowl on went off the air at 2 a.m. They played the national anthem and went off the air.
That's it.
And picked back up in the morning.
Hey, man. I mean, speaking of Super Bowls, I might be in the minority here, but since we won the Super Bowl, the Cowboys fans don't bother me as much. Like their trash talk. I'm like, I'm on ice now. You know what I mean? I'm just like, all right, well, you go ahead and talk your talk. All right, cool. Whatever.
I mean, it adds perspective.
Yeah, for sure.
Because now it's not like I don't have the same conversation with Cowboys fans as I have with Giants fans.
No.
And I feel like the Giants are in a different conversation because they've won a Super Bowl that I can actually remember.
Two of them,
exactly.
Yeah.
The Giants have won 2 Super Bowls in this century.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's like they don't even say anything. It's the Cowboys who now, you got your 1, but what about our 5? And the first thing I always ask someone now, especially in this social media age, how old were you last time the Cowboys won a Super Bowl?
Right. How many of them have you saw in person?
Don't brag on 5 rings you don't remember.
So I'm gonna age myself for a second.
Okay.
I'll be 45 in a week and change, about 2 weeks.
See, I'm gonna sit there and act like he's real old, like I'm not older than he is, but it's all good.
But the last time the Cowboys won a Super Bowl, I was in high school.
Mm.
I was a senior. I was a senior in high school the last time they won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So,
there you go, right? Half the people who talk.
Well, let me. I got you one better. Last time the Cowboys won a Super Bowl, I was in college. Now I got a child in college. I've always said if your child was in elementary school the last time the Eagles won a Super Bowl, there's a chance that child might still be in elementary school.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or just about to leave.
Or just hitting middle school now.
Either just hitting it, or somewhere around there. Like my daughter was in might have been kindergarten, first grade, or whatever, but she's in the 6th grade now.
Mm-hmm.
If you were in elementary school the last time the Cowboys won a Super Bowl, you might have an elementary school student of your own.
Right.
That's how long it's been. But yet that's what they want to talk about.
But we can't hang on to our one that was more recent than theirs that was like 20-something years ago. It's like, y'all won one, great, it's over, it's old. But now they can their Super Bowl ring is cracking. Like it got gold cracks in the whatever color it is. I don't even know what color.
So what I tend to ask these cockroach fans when they bring up that we have 5, because that's the one thing that'll survive anything. Cockroaches and Cowboys fans, they're everywhere.
That is true.
But
that's a good point. That is true. That's very
one thing
true.
I tend to ask them when they bring up the 5 is, that's true, but how many of them are possessed by current members of your roster? I can count rings on current. I can count like rings earned in Philly by people on the current roster.
Yeah,
it's not a lot of the roster at this point because Howie is always active, but there are some core pieces on this team, not fringe pieces, core pieces that have Super Bowl rings in Philly.
Right. Yeah,
most of the Cowboys roster wasn't even born when they got a ring.
Ooh, yikes! They're not gonna like that one. They're not gonna like that fact right there.
and the fact is, it's like also most of them don't even remember watching any of the players that were in the last Cowboys. Like honestly, you get into it with these Cowboys fans on social media. How many of them really remember Troy Aikman?
Right.
How many of them really remember
player, not commentator?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. You're used to Troy Aikman working with Joe Buck, not Smith, not Michael Irvin.
Right.
They know Emmett. They know Emmitt Smith, the pitch man, Michael Irvin from Undisputed.
Right. Man,
but,
they something else, man. They something.
But before we go too far, no, go ahead.
I was just saying, like now I'm at a point where I don't have a problem with giving the team credit if they're good. It's mainly some of the fans where I'm just like, all right, I can't talk to you, man. I just can't do it, man. I'm sorry.
And I feel you on that because we'll always say like this is a dangerous team or this this team has talent. We still don't trust them. I don't trust their head coach. I don't trust their ownership. But they're a very talented team, and I'll openly admit that. It's it's really. I still don't like them and never want them to win because of the jersey. But I'll openly admit when they're talented and have potential to do something. But they're fans. Every year, this is our year. No, it's not. This is not your year. Like you have the same coach, the same flaws. Why is this year?
And I think, and to piggyback that, it's the fact that Cowboys fans, they want to shoehorn themselves. They want to shoehorn their team into every football conversation. It's like you want to sit there, hey, let's talk about the best quarterbacks in the league. Oh, when you look at the top, it's always going to be Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers and Joe Burrow and Dak Prescott. And like, wait, what? It's who's going to win the Super Bowl this year? Will it be the Chiefs? Will it be the Bengals or will it be the Cowboys?
They always
Like,
get
whoa.
thrown in there, and the media does that.
Mhm.
The media does that. I don't know if they get paid to put them in talks at the beginning of every year, but they do it every year. I'm like, man, how did we get to the Cowboys making it to the Super Bowl before any of these other
Like,
teams?
who invited them? Who put them in there?
It's
Who said
crazy.
that? And then and the problem is like they will do that. You know, they will crown themselves the team to beat. And then when you beat them, that's when the excuses come.
That's when the excuses.
Oh, you know, this guy was hurt. Oh man, why are you acting like this is your Super Bowl? That's the thing Cowboys are saying now. Cowboys fans are saying now, oh, this is the Super Bowl to them. No.
No, it's not.
No,
It's
it's
week
not.
9.
It's week 9.
Right.
Understand this. At this point now, the Super Bowl is the Super Bowl to us.
Correct.
Because we've been there. We've been to more than one.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all have not sniffed the championship game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for Cowboys fans, a week 9 game might be the Super Bowl.
Yeah. This could be their Super Bowl this week against the Eagles.
Very well could be.
Yeah.
Very well could be. Very well could be. But let's talk the actual game. We know how Cowboys fans act, how they view it. But in the actual game, the players that will actually be playing, what do you see looking for? What do you see about this matchup that intrigues you? What stands out to you?
I just feel like this is a battle of the secondaries, right? Because, you know, the Eagles, obviously, you look at their receivers, you see what AJ Brown's been doing. He's setting history, right? And he's just been on a roll. And I'm just wondering, can that secondary stop not just AJ, but you got Devontae Smith and then Julio. Maybe Julio's a little older, but Julio's still a threat to you. So you can't just be like, oh, that's Julio. He's not Julio of old. So I think for the Cowboys, their secondary is going to have to hold up. On the same side for the Eagles, we know they've been up and down all year long. CeeDee Lamb is a receiver I respect all day long. I think the guy's a great receiver. So they have to account for him. You have to account for their tight end on that side as well. So can these secondaries do their job? And I think that front seven of the Eagles is going to have to get to Dak Prescott as well.
Now you talk about that front seven. I think fans tend to get a little bit frustrated with that because they know how good it can be. But sometimes it seems like this is very much a bend but don't break defense.
I hate that. I hate it.
JB hears me complain every week about the deep playing back off the I get it situationally, but is it just me that has a problem with the deep 10 yards back almost like snaps?
No, it's not just you. You are not alone, brother. It is not just you. In that Washington game in week 4, man, I was screaming in the house watching that game. I kicked the box and everything because I was because I'm saying to myself, why are we playing off like this, man? It's 1 second left in the game and we're standing in the end zone. Like that's all they need is they break that play. So, you know, I just hate that they play that way. And, you know, it's definitely frustrating that they play that type of defense.
Yeah, because that was honestly the one thing I was hoping would be a noticeable difference going from Gannon to Desai. We knew they had coming in. We all kept hearing there were similarities in the scheme. It wasn't going to be a lot different. But that was the one difference I was hoping for. And it seems like between guys getting free releases off the line and the ability to cover slot right now, that year Roby to go down. And Reed Blankenship and how they held up last week against Washington, and how do you think that works against Dallas, who likes to move their best receiver, CeeDee Lamb, around and play him in the slot a lot?
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to have to game plan. You know what I mean? This is the fun part about divisional games, right? They can go any way. right? It just doesn't matter.
Mhm.
You think
Yeah.
about, I go right back to last year where the Eagles are coming into this game with the Commanders. Let me get their name right. The Commanders. They're coming into this game and they're undefeated and they're rolling and it's just boom. They lose, right? And they take their first
Mhm.
loss of the season. And I believe what was that, week 9 or 10 or something like that.
Mhm.
So it's like these divisional games can go either way. And they want to beat us and we want to beat them, but we gonna have to game plan the right way because I do believe they are a threat.
Now you call them a threat. You say that they're a threat because it is a divisional matchup.
Mm-hmm.
At this who is this a bigger statement game for? The Eagles, who are right now 7-1, or the Cowboys, who up until a couple of weeks ago people thought were either on par. Well, Cowboys fans thought they were higher, but either on par or higher than the Eagles. Who is this a bigger statement game for?
That's a loaded question because there's so many different scenarios coming into this game. I want to say the Cowboys because divisional wise, you got the Eagles who are 2-0 in division. They beat the Commanders twice now. You got the Cowboys who are kind of hot right now, wanting to prove that they can play with the best. Coming into this season, you got the Eagles. Oh, they're going back to the Super Bowl. Got a tough schedule, but they're contenders. And it's like, well, we want to beat the
Mhm.
contenders. We want to beat our division rival. So honestly. On the other side for the Eagles, it's a chance again to prove that they are real contenders because everybody thinks the Cowboys are going back to the Super Bowl for some
Mm.
reason. So for me, I think I would have to give the edge in that question to the Cowboys because they're 5-2. It's a divisional game. They're trying to beat quote unquote the best team in the league right now. Which I think is you can argue that because I'm just hard on my team like that, but and I'm the only fan that can say that. Other fans can't say
Mhm.
that about us, right? Only I can say that about the
Mm.
Eagles. So I'm
No,
going,
I
you know what I
understand.
mean? But right now, Eagles
Mhm.
best record in the league. So I think for it's a statement game for the Cowboys.
And to that point, the last time the Cowboys saw a team that people were saying may have been the best team in the NFC when they played the 49ers, they got punched in the
Spanked.
mouth.
Yeah, they got spanked.
So they absolutely, in my opinion, it's the Cowboys who have to prove they can play with the top teams in conference.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the
Absolutely.
Eagles, 7-1, the record speaks for itself. You have the best record in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And the best record in the league, and also keep in mind what they did to Miami a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
A lot
yeah.
of
Mhm.
people thought Miami was that cheap pick, and honestly, it, even with that game,
Mm-hmm.
that high-powered Miami offense wasn't really able to do a lot against that Eagles defense.
That's true. True.
So at this point, like what could Dallas do offensively that Miami couldn't? With the exception of one drive, Miami really couldn't figure out this Eagles defense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what does Dallas have to do differently?
Well, I
What
said
can
coming
they
in.
do?
Yeah, I said coming into this season, someone asked me about, I don't really like doing predictions. That is
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I hate is predictions, especially at the beginning of the year, right? It's the NFL. Anybody could beat anybody on any given day. But I've always felt that coming into the season, the Eagles are the only team that could beat the Eagles because they have the talent, right? And when you look at this 7-1 record, it kind of proves that point that their turnover differential was terrible, but somehow they're 7-1, right? And a
Mhm.
lot of these games that are close, it's because of the Eagles' mistakes. They're shooting their own selves in the foot. The red zone is slow, which means they're getting down there, but they can't cap off the drive so that they can move the ball. So I still think that the team that can beat the Eagles the most are the Eagles. So the Cowboys, what they're going to have to do is just it's no deep answer to that question. They're just going to have to go out there and want it more, and they're going to have to beat the Eagles. So you know what I mean. I just feel like uh games like this, the Eagles play really well. That Sunday night game, Kelly Green jerseys, I think they were
Mm-hmm.
feeling it, right? And they were like, we're about to prove that we can play with the best. And for some reason, they step up in those big moments. But when they play
Mm-hmm.
against teams that they're supposed to beat, I don't know. They play down to their level, I think.
No, I've seen that. I have definitely seen it. And I think, if
Mhm.
given that mentality, if that is truly a part of their makeup. I think that's what gets them up for this game because it's Dallas.
It's a big game,
and
man.
they know. And I think this is a team very much in tune with the fan base, with what the fans think, and everybody knows. It's like everybody knows in that building how this fan base feels about the Dallas Cowboys. We talked about just the three of us. We talked about it for first 15 minutes of this show. How much we hate them.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, it's based. It comes down to the fact that I just feel like you want to be able to keep this momentum going. You've seen what they've done. You've now hung 2 L's on the Commanders. So now to be able to move forward, and especially given what's coming up on in the schedule for this Eagles team. When you look down the line, to be able to start this off with a win against Dallas, going into the bye week. They got the bye after Dallas.
Yep.
You want to go in with that type of momentum. It would be great to go into the bye week 8-1.
Man, would it ever? Would it ever, man? And I mean, I think that adds to the moment of this game. Like as you mentioned, we all know already.
Yes.
Dallas week, it's a separate kind of week. It's like take it off the regular season schedule. This is the game right here, right? Especially that first meeting, because oftentimes that second meeting is oftentimes meaningless because of the way they put out the schedule sometimes. But yeah, man, I just think that would be great, as you mentioned, going into that bye week. And hopefully we could talk about the schedule. I don't know what kind of questions y'all got, but hopefully we can get into that schedule after the bye week, because I believe that, the league is saying that that's the hardest schedule. I'm looking at those teams and I'm saying they're all winnable games for the Eagles. Every last one of those games are winnable games.
There's no true, if anything, and this is, and I say this with a level of context. If anything, the closest thing to a juggernaut in the NFL is the Eagles, and that's not saying that they necessarily are.
Right.
But what I'm saying is this is the 7-1 team. I'm looking at a Chiefs team with 2 losses. Looking at a Bills team with 3 losses. 49ers team with 3 losses. Now it seems to be, sputtering a little bit.
Yeah.
Then you got the Cowboys again. Got the Seahawks who are up and down.
Winnable.
At Seattle, though, so that's going to be a tough
Seattle,
game.
Yeah. And that's not like I'm coming out here saying, all right, man, the Eagles just gonna go undefeated. We're just gonna roll through all of this.
Not at all.
But what I'm saying is this does not have to be as daunting as people are making it out to be.
I agree 100%.
Like the Eagles gonna come out on the other side like 500 or something,
Well, the way I see it is at the start of the year when people were projecting the schedule, you're looking at records from last year, like, okay, these were all playoff teams and such.
Yeah.
But at this point in the year, you may still be looking at some of the better teams in the league, but all the best teams in the league are flawed. Like there is no true juggernaut this year. We can look at the Eagles and nitpick and we can definitely pick where all the Eagles' problems are. Kansas City has issues. They lack weapons. Dallas, San Francisco, all these teams have flaws. So I won't use the word juggernaut, but I would say the Eagles are likely the closest thing to a complete team in the league this year.
Oh, yeah. I 100% agree with that. I think for me, it's just for the longest. I mean, before the Niners went on this three week, whatever this has been for them, because it's just strange to see them kind of fall off like that. But that just speaks to the flaws that you were talking about there. But yeah, I think the Eagles, like, just from paper to on the field, they have pretty much everything that they need. And then you go out and get Kevin Byard. Like, come on, man. Like, you guys got a legitimate chance to raise that Lombardi trophy this year, but you got to want it. You got to want it because teams are hunting for you now. You're sitting at 7-1. Everybody wants to beat the Eagles because they hate their fans for whatever reason. We're nice people, man. Y'all got to relax, man.
I thought you were nice. Look, man, Tyrone, I think you're a pretty nice guy. You know,
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
I mean, look, first conversation we've had was this week. I was like, I saw you work on Channel 17. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm pretty sure I follow that guy on Instagram.
Yeah.
Let me just put this out here. See if you'll come on the show.
Absolutely, man.
And you're a fan. You're a nice guy, man. I appreciate you.
Listen. I went out to the Rams game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, I don't know if it came across on television, man, but that was a real takeover. Like that was a real life takeover. I thought I was at the link when they scored a touchdown. It was crazy. But it was fans that were trying to egg me on. You know what I mean? I had my helmet on. I had my jersey. Like I'm just like, I got it right here. I had this helmet on right here. They're looking at me like this man is crazy, right? But I killed them with kindness, man. I showed them a different type of Eagles fan. So like, I'm easy going, right? I'm not one to start any trouble. I just like to root for my team, and that's it.
I understand, and I feel like that is another battle, like a social media battle, and it's especially now where I feel like with social media, with the resources that are available to everyone, now is the best time to point out the fact that this whole thing about the Philly sports fan, it's a narrative. It's a stereotype. You can go on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram and find crazy videos of fans being
But JB, I would also
everywhere.
I would say also say this. Because we know we have a very passionate fan base. We're very parochial. We defend our teams. We defend our fans. So in a like it or not clickbait era, an easy way to generate clicks, talk about the most passionate fan base. They'll give you clicks just to defend them. They don't have to agree with you. You just need the clicks.
Yeah, it clicks, man. I like
it's an easy narrative to drive views, in my opinion.
Jonesy, we say it all the time. You look at the Philly fan base. You look at the Philly market in general. Whereas, like, we are really a self-reliant, self-contained argument or group of people. You know, we talk with one another. We don't have to necessarily rely on people outside of this fan base, outside of this area for engagement.
Yeah.
Whereas, and I think that's something where not a lot of markets, not a lot of areas can say. So you'll see national personalities like a Cowherd or a Levitard or somebody like that. They will throw stones and throw rocks at Philly because they know as a whole we'll get into it with them. We'll call them out, but I think it's also because we're the fourth largest market in this country, and people like Levitard, people like Cowherd and guys like the people on Fox Sports 1 or whatever, they don't matter in this city. Nobody cares about them. Nobody. We don't care about their. It's
only when they're talking bad about us.
Yeah,
only bad. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. The media has. I think, John, like you said, the media plays a big role in that because, but it's still like they're isolating the Eagles fan base because I've seen so many videos of fans fighting their own fans and the things that they highlight for us that gets all this traction and clicks, like you said, the other team fan bases don't get it. So I feel like we're an easy target because of, like you guys said, that passion that comes out of Philadelphia. So
and it's, I guess,
no one likes us, we don't care.
Yeah,
exactly.
And it's funny to me now to see the fact that it's so obvious that this is low-hanging fruit, this is stereotype, this is all made up. And for me, it's like it's forcing people to admit just how shallow it is. People will say, oh man, Philly fans are the worst. They're the worst. I'm like, you can close your eyes, find 10 clips of crappy Vikings fans, crappy
Easy.
49ers fans, crappy
Raiders
Rams fans,
Man, the
fans.
Raiders
Raider
fans always
fans,
fighting each other, man.
Exactly.
Cowboys fan. You can find that. And then it's like, I want you to admit that you base your hatred on the Philadelphia fan base over the fact that at a game in 1968, you heard people threw snowballs at Santa Claus.
And
Mhm.
and
I
they
want
didn't
you to
mention
say-
Santa was drunk.
Yeah,
Didn't
it's
mention
like I
none of
want you.
that.
It's like I want you to say that. I want you to admit that, so you can hear how silly you sound,
Right.
because that's what it is.
It is silly. I mean, there's
It is.
knuckleheads in every fan base,
Yes.
man. But
Yes.
at the same time, maybe I'm biased because I worked with Eagles fans for 10
Mhm.
years, and like, I'm an Eagles fan myself. They're like family to me. But we got good people in our fan base, man.
Yes.
So it's
Yes,
just
they're
like,
great people.
I don't know. We're an easy target, man.
It is. It is what it is. But
Right.
back to this game. Back to the players who are going to be on the field. QB1, Jalen Hurts.
The man that had a purpose before anybody had an opinion.
Exactly.
I love that
Exactly.
quote, man.
Exactly. What are your thoughts on the season that he has had?
Man, I think Jalen. What makes me like Jalen, man, is his mentality. 90% of sports is mental, man, and especially at that level. You know what I mean? You're dealing with so much. So I think Jalen did take a step back in regards to his field vision, and I think that's making him not get the ball out as quickly as he would beforehand. So I think that's just the back step. Some of these interceptions we're seeing by Jalen is because of field vision, but also because he got some bad bounces. So I do think he took a step back, but not by that much, because numbers don't really lie, right? So it's just like you look at the numbers, you'll see that Jalen is still one of the better quarterbacks in the league. This year he just took a little bit of a step back, and I can't lie, I am getting frustrated as not just a football fan or Eagles fan, but also a football fan. How long are we going to keep saying, oh, we're going to find our groove, we're going to get it together? I mean, we're going into the bye week. We should have found our groove after week 5. But I got a lot of love for Jalen as a player, man. I think he's tough. I think he has the right mentality, but I think the field vision this year has really set him back a little bit.
So to follow that up, because coming into the 2022 season, last season, there were a lot of questions surrounding Jalen Hurts.
And you had a lot of questions, man.
I did. I'll never deny it.
Rightfully so.
But I was not the only one. And he seemed to answer just about all of the questions last year. JV, you remember I pointed this out midway through the season last year. Like, week 1, I say Hurts needs to do these things. Week 2, I'm coming back saying, well, he did those things. This is what but I still need to see this.
We were convinced that Jalen Hurts was watching our show last year.
And then come back week 3, and he did everything I said he needed to do in week 2. It was beautiful to watch the development. But then seeing a little bit,
we was feeling ourselves. We thought Jalen Hurts was watching us, man.
Yeah, man.
But then when you see a little bit of a step back this year, my question is, which one do you think is closer to the real Jalen Hurts? Where is that normalized level for him? Is it that high of last year, or is it this year? Which one do you think we should expect to see more of long term?
Well, I would hope to see the one from last year, because he took him to the Super Bowl and was in the MVP talk, right? So I think because of his mentality and his potential, I think the Jalen that we saw last year is more of the Jalen that could be, longer here in Philadelphia. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about coming out and playing the game, right? So it's like last year, Jalen was cool. That's dope. Got us to the Super Bowl. But we need that Jalen back, and he's just not that same guy this year. And granted, I'm not saying he's terrible by any stretch, because if you're 7-1, you got to be doing something right? Especially, this is a league where quarterback is obviously the most important position. That's why they get paid the big bucks. But I would have to say last year, because of the success he had, would probably be the Jalen that we see longer. But it's all about him putting the work in.
And I see that, I hear you, and I feel like he has earned my patience, but I do understand that it's now getting later and later. And I guess probably one of the first things that I liked about him was the fact he had an ability to say the right things. He always came off as a quarterback who was in control of the moment, understood the moment.
Yeah.
And it was only a matter of if he had the skills to match his temperament.
Yeah.
Because I felt like the longer he displayed this temperament without actually displaying the skills, that was going to work against him. Whereas, like, okay, this dude just says the right things. He can't
Yeah.
actually do it. But I think he proved himself last year
Yeah, no doubt.
that he could walk the walk and talk the talk. But
Mhm.
now it's like, okay, kind of finding ourselves in these same situations again. We're
Yeah.
going to need some things to get better.
Yeah.
Can you get them better? At the right
Yeah.
time. And I
Yeah.
feel like this would be a good way to do it. Coming out against the Cowboys, having a good game this week, going into the bye week with a win against the Cowboys would go a very, very long way. You agree?
Oh, 100%, man. Especially as we mentioned with some pretty, some tough teams coming up, winnable, but still tough teams. I think, that a win on Sunday would be fantastic. And the only thing for me with Jalen, though, just to get back on him a little bit, it's just how much of this is Jalen? You know what I mean? Like, as an athlete myself, I know I don't care who's on the sideline. You can have the greatest coach in the world on the sideline. They can't play for me. But at the same time, the coach's job is to put his players in a position to be the best, of themselves. So it's like if we stick to a game plan, is Jalen not feeling comfortable with audible in? And it's like, what is our offensive coordinator calling? And is it that chemistry? But they knew each other already, right? Him and Brian Johnson already had a relationship. So it's like I feel like they should have came in firing on all cylinders. But I feel like right now, there's something off between them two.
Something's
Yeah.
not quite
I,
right. Something's not clicking.
yeah, I think it's affecting his gameplay a little bit. And I feel like if they could get this play calling down, or Jalen just starts going straight Willie beaming and changing the play in the huddle, then I think we could see this team that they keep talking about that they're going to be. Oh, we gonna figure it out, man. We haven't even reached our peak yet. Like that's exciting. Like that's cool for maybe 3 weeks. But like, all right, fellas, we going into the bye week. When y'all gonna figure it out?
Mm-hmm. Let's. I'm sorry, Jones.
One more quick question.
Yeah.
Can AJ Brown do it again?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yo, I am so high on AJ Brown right now, man. I play receiver, so I'm just like, yo, can anybody stop this dude? Like, can they stop him for real? Because like it just watching him run his routes and the way he's able to find those open spaces and his ability to catch the ball in traffic, we saw he probably made the best catch all season long on Sunday. I mean, that throw by Jalen was just an absolute dot. He put it right on the shoulder where only AJ could go up and even try to get that ball. But I think AJ is hot right now, and I feel like this secondary I'm not really afraid of. Like I said earlier, I do believe that they have to play well to win a game. But if there's a receiving core that could tear them apart, I believe it's the Eagles. I think AJ can do it again.
And this is unprecedented.
It's crazy, man.
And this is like I don't even know any other way to say it.
It's fun.
I mean, he's the first person in history to do it.
It's crazy.
He's the first person in history to do it, and I feel like I've been complaining about Eagles receivers my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
There have been times when they've had good receiving cores, but AJ Brown. I mean, let's be
good
real.
Receiving core. Okay, you had Macklin and Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're talking about a good receiving core, prior to that, you got to go back to what? Mike Quick and Fred Barnett?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, you had T.O. and or before Macklin got here, you had Deshaun Jackson
Deshaun
and
Jackson, and
and there are a lot of years where it's not even the first guy. It's just
I told you like this is my whole life. All right, Jonesy put it out there that he's about to turn 45. I'm 47.
Mm-hmm.
This is my whole life.
You've seen a lot of
like Mike Quick and
mm-hmm.
Fred Barnett and and
that Deshaun Jackson Macklin core should have won a Super Bowl. I'm gonna just put that out there. Just put that out there.
We can blame we can blame Jonesy's boy Chipper for that one.
The Chipper, man.
The Chipper.
Right.
Charles Kelly.
The UCLA man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but nonetheless, I saw it I saw it over the weekend. The AJ Brown trade, that was the move that we thought that T.O. was going to be. And I think that is true in the sense that this is now year 2 of AJ Brown and he's still killing it. T.O. had blown up the team by this time in his second year in Philly. He was working his way to that. He's working his way to Dallas.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up because the response that AJ had after making history, right? The first player to ever do what he's doing right now. He said, "Man, I can be better." Right? He's like, I just want to be better. And he's all about, look, we on to the next game, right? Like this is dope, but at the same time, like we got more to do, and I love that, right? Because it's just like all of this history, all of these big plays, all of this glory. Player of the month, I think he got named today Player of the Month. Crazy, like 40 receptions and like 900 yards over the last month or so. It's some crazy like that. So I'm just like to have that success and still be like, all right, what's next? What we on to next? Like we still got to attack. We still got to be great. I love that, man. That's awesome.
Once upon a time, 900 yards we'd have been cool for a receiver got that in a season.
A season.
Mm-hmm.
A season.
Crazy.
This guy gets it in a month. And I feel like, people don't understand when I say that as a fan base, we were cool.
Yeah.
Had the Eagles went into last season with Devontae Smith as their number 1 guy. We didn't see the AJ Brown move coming going into that draft.
Going into that draft, we thought they might spend a second or third round pick to pick up a number 2 receiver.
Traylon Burks. That's who they thought they were going to take with that pick.
And we would have been good with that. So when the AJ Brown move comes, it's like Christmas. Like what?
My mind was blown, man.
Okay, Howie.
Yeah.
It's like all right, we doing this.
Can we talk
serious?
Can we talk about him a little bit?
Yes, by all means, let's talk about Howie for a little bit.
Man, don't let him talk to my wife, man. I don't know. This guy, he's a smooth operator, man. My goodness. Yo, what do he be saying to these GMs? I'm just like, yo, hold up. Hold up. Because that night when we made the trade, on draft night, the trade, we don't know what's popping up yet. It just pops up. Oh, trade. There's been a trade. And I'm just like, why did we trade the pick, man? Who we traded for? What are we doing? And boom, they like, we got AJ Brown. I'm like,
what?
What did he say to him?
I can't believe this. What is he doing? Get him out of here. Whoa.
Right.
What?
It's funny. You referred to Howie as a smooth operator. I heard a very opposite description of him. A friend of mine living in Nashville after this most recent trade said that Nashville radio was referring to Howie as Suge Knight. They said Suge Knight called and told him he wanted their safety. So
Which is funny if you see Howie,
right?
Howie was about 5'9".
In that voice, yo, Howie bigger. Hey, man,
we want that safety.
Hey, I'm gonna give you a 6 and a 7, and I'm gonna give you everybody on my team. Like what? Bro? You can't get off my phone, man.
The job that he has done over the years, because I feel like that we really, Jonesy and I, we pride ourselves on not running from receipts. You can look at our archive.
I wanted Howie fired.
Yeah,
A lot of people did.
We were calling for that man's job. Plain and simple. We were calling for that man's job. We were going through draft after draft. Like, yo, this is trash, man.
The J-Jaw and Jalen Reagor back-to-back thing had pretty much sealed it for me.
Like,
and then somewhere he suddenly seemed to figure out how to draft.
It put the pressure on him because that Jalen Reagor. I mean, look, we talking about Jay Jettis possibly being on this team, man. You took Jalen Reagor. Come on, bro.
When they made the move to move on from Doug Peterson, and essentially also made the move to move on from Carson Wentz, I was the one who said they all got to go. If we're going to get rid of them, like, don't do 2 of 3, don't do 1 of 3. It's like, I want Howie gone, I want Doug gone, I want Carson gone. If we're getting rid of them,
Doug and Carson were Howie.
All of them.
Yeah. Doug and Carson were Howie, so they had to go. Why did Howie get to skate by?
Why does this man need to stay? And now I'm like, you know what? Peace, y'all. Bye, Carson. Bye, Doug. I'm good.
I gotta be honest, man. You know what? I fought for Carson Wentz, man.
That's fine.
I was like, nah, man, y'all being too hard on Carson Wentz, man. We don't win that Super Bowl without him. Like, but once they drafted Jalen, I'm like, he gotta go because now it's just it's a little messy. You know what I mean? Like, he feeling some type of way, and he got Jalen behind him. You got Jalen coming in with superstar potential, and boom, I'm just like, all right, you gotta honestly,
go. I feel like that was easy to do because it was like, because you see Carson being disgruntled, but it's like, okay, if you still believe in Carson, if you still believe that Carson Wentz could be that guy, the fact that they spent their 2nd round pick on a quarterback should piss you off.
It was telling.
I thought that was I thought that was a terrible pick until I thought using not that I thought Jalen was terrible. It was so much as I just thought you just paid Carson. Why spend that much resources on a quarterback and I felt that way until about mid-season or so when I saw Carson's, as I call it, his mental fragility on full display and the way he responded to the situation. And at that point, it was like, it's not about your talent. It's your mindset.
Your mindset, man.
No, you're absolutely
like Ben Simmons, right?
Right. And
brother,
James Harden.
Brother, that's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother show. We got that much time.
Oh my goodness! I don't even know why I brought that up, man. But listen, I do want to ask you. I know I'm the host here, but I do want to talk about.
No, we the hosts.
Y'all the hosts here. I got a question. I got a question for you guys. I want to talk about. We're on a podcast. I want to talk about a player who's often on a podcast on the Cowboys team who I believe wants to be.
He wants to be Eagle.
Like, I'll be the first to tell you, I'm a fan of Micah Parsons.
I was a huge fan of his at Penn State. Well, I hate him in a Cowboys jersey.
He talks a lot, though. Like, I'm like, and oftentimes when he talks, he just loves to talk about the Eagles. I'm like,
because he wants to be here.
You know you could come on over here, bro. You know what I mean? My man Howie get on the phone and start talking to Jerry. You never know how it's going to go. But you know what I mean? Like, can we just talk about that matchup? Because I feel like there's a player who numbers-wise gets close to Micah Parsons but doesn't get the credit for it, and he plays for the Eagles. Absolutely.
I already know.
Well, first of all, as far as Micah Parsons goes, that speaks to something that Jonesy and I have always talked about in our hatred for the other 3 teams in our division. The fact that they continuously take star players from both of our favorite college teams and puts them on teams that we hate, and therefore forcing us to hate them.
I was a huge Saquon fan at Penn State.
Exactly. We talked about the fact that I hate the Giants because they're making me hate Saquon Barkley. Right. And then I hate the Cowboys because you've now taken somebody I loved in college. I loved Micah Parsons, and I'm not, I am very happy with the Eagles draft from that year. But I wanted Micah Parsons.
I did as well.
Man.
I
did
wanted
it to
him.
me. You ain't gonna like this answer, but I'm an Ohio State fan. I'm a TU guy, but I've been rooting for Ohio State for a long.
Jonesy, I didn't know this.
Don't hang me. Don't hang
Jonesy,
up on me.
I didn't see. I didn't see that. Whoa.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
apologize,
man.
bro.
But they took Ezekiel Elliott.
Jonesy, send me a text if you want me to cut this guy off. Let me know. Just hit me up on the phone real quick. Just let me know. I'll cut him off.
I knew y'all wasn't gonna like that one, man. But I had to tell you.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. I didn't research that. I didn't know.
One of my best friends is also an Ohio State fan, so
I can stay now. Oh yeah,
I'm used to dealing with. I'm used to dealing with that conversation.
Yeah.
He's actually from Ohio, so
see that once again. There you go.
See, I'm not from Ohio. I just wanted to go there in college, and I was rooting for the football team, and it didn't work out, so I still rooted for them. But
I'll tell you like I told him. Like, look, if they have the payroll to pay the best players available, and Penn State doesn't, then there's nothing we can do about that. And they've been in a situation for the last 20 years where they've been able to pay the best players available.
No, you're right. But I will say this to the point that you made, and even college aside, once upon a time, I stood behind this mic right here and said I felt like the Eagles should keep Sam Bradford and draft Ezekiel Elliott. We don't need this Carson. We don't need to trade up and get this Carson Wentz guy.
They did it.
We need to get Ezekiel Elliott and put him behind Sam Bradford. Now, I admit
I wasn't with you on that one.
You weren't with me on that one, and you were right. I was wrong. I was wrong. And even when they got Carson Wentz, I'm like, no, let's groom this guy. This guy went to North Dakota State. You don't start this man right away. We need to start Sam Bradford.
You weren't the only one saying that. You weren't the only one saying that.
I was on the start Sam Bradford right up until Minnesota said we'll give you a first round pick for him. As soon as Minnesota said, "Hey, we'll give you a first for," hey, thanks for coming out, Sam. Got in with the Sammy Sosa.
Yeah. Peace out.
Peace out, brother.
We had Sam Bradford and DeMarco Murray, and we were excited about that.
Oh man.
Excited about that.
It makes you appreciate Jalen, DeAndre Swift, and AJ Brown and Devontae Smith that much more.
Jordan Matthews as your number one receiver.
Jay Matthews, what?
And I like Jay Matthews, but that man had to run like a 4.8 40.
Oh my goodness!
Painful, baby. You took it. You took it.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Jordan Matthews. He had good hands. He could catch the ball.
He had a good.
He wasn't running away from anybody.
No.
Jerry's Rice cousin, man.
Mm-hmm.
We were hoping some of that wore off on it.
Man, I'm looking at the clock, so I know we got to let you go soon. We can talk this Philly sports all night.
Oh yeah,
but I'm gonna shift gears slightly because there was another big thing that happened in Philly this week. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about the Harden deal?
You know what? As much drama that was surrounding James Harden, man, it was best. You know what I mean? To get that deal done sooner or later. And I was talking to so many people, kind of like, man, I don't even know how this situation is going to unfold because it got ugly, like quick. It got ugly, and I'm thinking to myself, like, what are they going to do? This guy, he's opted into this $35.6 million. Like, who wants that for a 34-year-old Harden? Who's willing to take on that contract? And what do we get? You know what I mean? So it was a lot of questions, but when it happened, I'm looking at the deal and I'm kind of like the Sixers won this deal because you have compensation. I was listening to one of you guys' podcasts and Mike, you brought that up where, in this deal, you were looking for some compensation, for the future. So it's like they got compensation for the future. They got a couple wing guys who are expiring contracts. But I think the part that's not being talked about a lot is how much money they freed up between him and PJ Tucker. And now they could possibly make another big splash. So for me, I feel pretty good about the trade. Like it wasn't going to get any better. It was going to get uglier and uglier and uglier. And I think he started to show up to kind of help him. Like, hey, look, other teams, I'm showing up, even though it's not nice. And the Clippers bought into that. And now, I love that people are saying they're going to win the 2017 championship now. so for me, I'm okay with the deal. I think, I'm just fully prepared for the Sixers to get eliminated in the first or second round. Hopefully not, but I just believe that that's just the max of their success coming up. But I'm okay with the trade, and I'm looking forward to see what the future holds for this team.
So I'll fill you in on one thing real quick. The Clippers now, okay, back up. I maintain a list of point guards you cannot win with in the NBA. Guys, you cannot win with as your starting point guard.
That is a staple of the Jonesy and Brown. That is a staple of the Jonesy and Brown show.
Like, I would love to hear that list right now.
You might be able to use them in other ways, but if they're your starting point guard, your primary ball handler, you will not win.
We'll put it like this. At least Clippers, 2 of them are on the Clippers right now.
The Clippers have 2 of the top 3 guys now.
2 of the top 3. Who's that third? Would you say that's Chris Paul?
Kyrie.
Okay.
Oh, see, you were going to say Kyrie. I was going to say Trae Young.
Trae Young's on there too, but he's number 4 only because people are starting to realize about Trae Young and the buzz is falling on him. His rookie year, I got so tired of hearing about how good people thought he was. I'm like, you'll never win this way.
Yeah.
He's Steph, but not efficient.
Yeah.
Steph is special because everyone knows he takes bad shots. He's just such a good shooter. He'll make them.
Right. Bad shots for us.
Right.
For Steph, it seems like a layup. That dude is not real, man. He's not a human.
For Trae Young, they're bad shots.
Yeah. He likes to shoot them too, man.
Exactly. He's
in the parking lot.
He's looking for his own points before he's looking to run the offense. He takes terrible shots and he doesn't play defense. Can't win like that.
Yeah, I agree. I think whatever. I don't know what type of success they'll have out there, but I do believe that there's going to be an issue with all of those guys playing together. And like Harden said today, he said in a press conference, I'm not a system player. I'm a system.
I am the system.
How is that going to work? Like, you got Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and then you got Russ, and then you got Harden, and he's the system. Okay.
So glad that he's gone now.
I just thought that was a corny.
Kawhi and Paul George are clearly still the best 2 players on the team.
I mean, come on.
And Russell Westbrook's answer to every problem is more Russell Westbrook. So I have no idea how this works as a unit. It's a lot of talent, but as a team, I don't see it going beyond the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure. Like, I'm not sure who even put it out there. I think somebody on Twitter put it out. Like, they put a picture of the Clippers. Like, who can stop this team? And I'm like, first of all, load management is going to stop this team. Second of all, they're still not better than Phoenix. They're still not better than Golden State. They're still not better than Denver.
I don't think they're better than the Lakers. And I'm not extremely high on the Lakers.
I'm not high on the Lakers either, but I think the Lakers have more players that could play together well.
Exactly, they fit better as a team. Their best players are injury prone and 39, but they actually do fit well as a team. Your concerns with the Lakers are like, can they make it to the finish line? Not can they play together? So
definitely.
I actually think the young Kings. And we didn't mention Denver.
They don't talk about the Kings a lot, man. The Kings are a tough team, man.
Yeah, the young Kings are figuring out how to play, and they'll be a tough out. And Denver's still Denver. So
exactly. So
not much change there with that team.
Exactly.
As far as that trade goes for me, a couple of concessions, and couple of like long time thoughts. Like I've always been somebody who said you trade a superstar, you should get a superstar. But that being said, I know that I don't believe that James Harden is a superstar anymore. And that was truly a deal of just get what you can get the best deal that you can get. And I thought that's what it was. There wasn't a deal to be made for James Harden that was going to put this team on the same level as a Milwaukee or a Boston. That guy, a guy that puts them up in that upper echelon, just wasn't available for James Harden. So what did they? So they got rid of the two worst contracts on the team. Brought in a bunch of guys on expiring contracts who all have one thing in common. They play to the strengths of the two teams that are above the Sixers in the standings.
You got length, you got athleticism, defensive ability,
and guys who can shoot. Got a couple of guys who can hit an open jumper. I think Marcus Morris can hit that open three from the corner a little bit better than PJ Tucker could.
I definitely think Nicholas
can make a shoot, make shots.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
My only thing with this trade, where right now I still have it as an incomplete grade, because I'm waiting to see what Morey, who I do not have the most trust in, 100%. Does with the assets he just acquired. Because I think as is, this team will win 45, 50 games, but without somebody to control the offense, you'll lose to the better teams in the playoffs.
100%.
So I still want to see them make another move to bring in a primary ball handler.
Yes.
So right now I have it as an incomplete, because you weren't going to be able to get the direct move Harden for that guy, but you may be able to do something now.
Those are my exact thoughts, man. Those are my exact thoughts, because, and I was just about to ask you guys that, like, I feel like we need another guard, right? Because like Maxey, I see the potential with Maxey, right? He shows you he can score 30, right, on any given night. So my thing is just like, I do think that they need more guard help. But just kind of go back to what you said, John, is just like they were never going to get a superstar for a superstar, because like you said, number one, Harden's not a superstar anymore. Number two, he kind of hurt his value with the way he handled the situation. Number three, the type of money that was attached to him, right? And it's just like, I just feel like people don't, that it's not the same Harden of old. So you were never going to get that superstar. But I agree with the analysis that it's an incomplete trade, because draft picks are not the same as they are in the NBA as they are in the NFL. So they don't carry as much value. After you get out of like the top 10 picks in the NBA, it's like, who are these guys? Right. And you're lucky to hit on a guy anything past that. So they could combine these picks, and he might need to get some tips from Howie on how to make a deal happen. But I would like to see them make another move, especially with the money that they freed up.
I just think they were able to give themselves a little more optionality, if I may use an old Sam Hinkie word. They have some optionality and a little bit more, and it's not necessarily that they are, considerably better than they were before, but I feel like, in the end, I think this was a 45 to 50 win team that is still going to be a 45 to 50 win team, but they're more. I think they are more.
They're better at defending the wings, which is a big thing dealing with Milwaukee and Boston in the East for sure.
I don't think that this trade definitely does not make them better than Boston or Milwaukee, but I feel a little bit more confident in hey, just tip it up and hey, let's see what happens.
I think it lets you match up with Boston and Milwaukee better, because you're able to because anytime you played Boston last year, JB, you'll remember, I always had the same question: who's defending the wings?
Yeah,
because we just didn't have guys that could do that.
That could do. Yeah.
Now you do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, I can't believe I'm about to say this name.
Go ahead, say it.
Even getting Rocco in the return is a serviceable piece.
Oh man,
I can't disagree with that.
Because he's not coming back with the same expectations we had for a guy like Rocco when he left, thinking he was going to be a starter, defensive player of the year type. He's coming back with the expectations to be a role player.
He's a role guy.
And for that, I think
he can knock down shots sometimes too.
Now I hope he's learned how to make layups since he was here the last time, because that was the real problem with Rocco. But
we will see.
We will see.
We
But
will see.
Who's the starting five now with these new players? Do you
that's
put
a very good question.
Oubre at the starting 3 or 2?
Now, I like Oubre coming off the bench. I still like him playing with that second. I still like him playing with that second unit.
Mhm.
My question, like, do you stay small with Tobias at the 4? And where was it? You had Tyrese and Melton in the backcourt.
Mm-hmm. I think that stays the same for now.
Yeah, it has. I think it has to.
Mm-hmm.
And who was playing? Well, you had PJ. Well, let's see.
So you're either going to start Morris or Oubre alongside Tobias. Depends on if you want to be a little bigger or you want to move Tobias to the board.
Yeah, I agree. It depends on the matchup that night, which they're playing right now. I don't know. Can we get an update on this score here?
See,
they're playing Toronto.
They are playing Toronto right now.
I can't
turn my head. My TV's over there, and I can't see it.
I'll have the score for you in a couple seconds.
Yeah. They're playing Toronto now. And
they're up for 58-49 at
halftime. There you go.
I like it.
There you go. Nick Nurse just still owning his former team.
I just feel like the Sixers, I think the conference is not as strong, so I still feel like they can get one of those top seeds going into the playoffs. I just don't feel like they have a deep run in them with the roster that they have right now. And I hope I'm wrong as a Sixers fan, but right now I just don't have that confidence.
I agree, but I do think they're in better position going forward to build a team that can make a deep run than they were a week ago.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Agreed. All right, real quick before we let you go, Tyrone, tell people who watch this podcast, who watch this show, who are listening over the weekend, they're like, yo, this dude Tyrone Sharper knows what he's talking about. I like him. Where can we find more of him? Where can we find more of Tyrone Sharper?
Well, you can watch me on PHL 17 in the morning.
PHL 17. This man knows what he's doing.
You can watch me there. I'm not always talking sports on there. You know, our city in Philadelphia a little rough right now, so it could be a murder story, or I could be smiling and cheesing about an Eagles win. But I'll be on PHL 17. You can follow me on Instagram at TSharperTV. I also have a YouTube channel where I do some fun daily vlogging with my family. It's called Sharp Vlogs. If you want to search me up on there. On Twitter, TSharper_3. And that's where you can find me. Give me a follow, man. I always appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. Look, man, you're now been welcomed and indoctrinated into the Jonesy and Brown family.
I appreciate it.
Just know that this means that we'll be calling on you to come on our show all the time.
Hey, I would love to come back.
You know,
you're always welcome.
Exactly. Just when you think you're tired, like, look, man, I'm tired of these dudes. You know, they don't know what they're talking about. They keep bothering me. And then that'll be when we hit you up, like, hey, man, if you ain't busy, why don't you jump on this pod with us?
Hey, look, sports. This is great, man. When you messaged me, it was like a full circle moment. You do remember when I interned at Fox 29, right?
Yes, yeah, back in the day. yeah. Of course, I remember. Yeah. Of course.
2020.
Yeah. I remember those days. Yeah.
But it was definitely good, man, to join you guys, man. I can do this stuff all day. I love my Philly teams and I love my Philly people. So yeah, anytime, man, let me know. Just shoot me a message.
All right,
we're a safe place. So if you ever have anything you need to get off your chest that you can't say on TV, that's what we're here for.
Listen, if the Eagles lose Sunday, I might need to be on.
Hit us up, man. Look, we are the city sounding board. Yeah, especially to the professionals, like they come to us. The things that their job might not let them say on their air, you are more than welcome to come
All
say
right.
on ours.
No doubt.
We will protect. Well, I don't know if we'll protect you, but look, you can say it.
We won't directly connect you to your job, so we won't tag your job or mention them or anything. So
okay, cool. But I'll be good anyway, so they're safe with. I'll be good.
Right. Well, once again, Tyrone, thank you for coming on, man. We appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
See you guys later.
Yep.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Tyrone Sharper. Look, man, that was fun. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. Hey, you let us know what you think of this show. Hit us up, Facebook, Instagram, Twix. That's my new name for it now, Twix. Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. We are at Jonesy and Brown, or you can follow us at BITW Sports. Download this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Just go to BITWsports.com. Mike Jones, it's another show, sir.
We have another one in the books.
Another one in the books.
Cowboys coming up.
Yes, we gonna kill them dudes, man.
I have a good feeling about this one.
I do have a good feeling. I too have a good feeling about this. And if it all goes wrong, we got 2 weeks to complain about it, man. 2 whole weeks to complain about this. Shout out to ML Carter. You know this person?
I do.
Is he or she?
She.
Yeah, okay. Just want to get it right, because it's all good. She says, I like Twix. I don't know if she's talking about the candy or she's talking about my term for Twitter and X. But either way, I appreciate that comment. I like Twix. We're gonna stick with that. But once again, hit us up. Facebook, Instagram, Twix, Jonesy and Brown, BITW Sports.
JB, real quick before we get out of here.
What's up, man? What's up?
Couple seconds or less. I got the Eagles 31-21. What do you got?
You said 31-21?
Mm-hmm.
All right, hey, man, you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb. Here. 34-10. This game ain't close.
Wow.
This game ain't close. 34-10. Well,
there it is.
There we go. You said 31-24?
I said 31-21. I got it by 10.
30. Let me take out let me get out the pad and pencil. 31-21, and I said 34-10. There you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Jonesy and Brown Show. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy sports. We'll talk to you guys next week. We out, y'all. Peace.
Peace.